Is this hangover worth the headache? We're getting you answers if you haven't already seen it.
The Wolf Pack is back, this time as the unwitting targets of the Las Vegas Mafia.
And this all happens after Mr. Chow escapes from a Bangkok prison and sets in motion a chain of events that bring it all back to where it started 4 years ago.
First off, let's look at the pros. This movie brings together an impressive cast including Bradley Cooper, Ed Helms, Ken Jeong, John Goodman, and Zach Galifianakis.
It's Galifianakis.
Each of whom brings something unique to the character and to the story. In fact, you sometimes wonder if some of the funniest parts of this movie weren't written but just made up on the spot.
I agree. These are all funny, talented people who work well together. Unfortunately, the laughs just come too far in between. And the plot in this one feels a little shaky. It loses the hangover gimmick, which means there's no piecing together the events from last night. Instead, this one kind of turns into a action buddy comedy.
And with the plot point of looking for soul and gold, it kind of makes you feel like this script came to us straight out of 1987. The film also makes a mistake of focusing a little bit too much on those awkward, off-the-wall characters. Now, Alan and Mr. Chow, they're funny, but in small doses, like in the first film. I mean, think about it. Mr. Chow isn't exactly the kind of voice that you want to listen to for 2 hours.
Yeah, that's the point. It's funny.
I also learned that in Las Vegas, you can commit any crime on the street and people will just watch.
Now, full disclosure, I'm not particularly a fan of the Hangover movies. I enjoyed the first one, but didn't love it. And I went to the second one with lower expectations and actually ended up liking it more than most. But this one just seems like a clumsy way to end the franchise. Like I said, there's no hangover this time around, which makes me think it just would have been better as a standalone movie.
I disagree. I actually really liked the first film because of its originality. I didn't really care much for the second because I didn't think it brought anything new to the table, which is why I appreciate with Hangover 3 that it goes back to its roots and gives us some closure to some of those characters. Now, it also earns its R rating. The language is pretty harsh, and if you stick around till after the credits, you will see things you can never unsee.
So if you're a fan of the original, this one's not going to live up to your expectations. And if you're kind of indifferent like me, then this one's not going to change your mind. I say skip it.
Is it worth seeing as closure to the series? Sure. Is it worth seeing in theaters? No. I say skip it. Remember, you can catch our reviews every week on Facebook or on WJTV.com. Galifianakis.
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 Galifianakis. Galifianakis. We've just seen Fast and the Furious.
That's what I said.